This week on Siskel and Ebert, terrorist Richard Gere tracks Bruce Willis, the assassin known as the Jackal.
Two swindlers turn an orphan girl into a lost princess in Anastasia.
And Bill Murray is clueless as a fake super spy in The Man Who Knew Too Little.
American dollars, all cash, of course. Half now, half upon completion. $70 million.
Bruce Willis is hired by the Russian mafia in The Jackal, one of 6 new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. The Jackal stars Bruce Willis as a legendary professional killer who was hired by the Russian mafia to assassinate the head of the FBI. He's a skilled technician who works alone, and up against him is the deputy FBI chief, played by Sidney Poitier. How to find the Jackal? Poitier believes a convicted IRA terrorist, played by Richard Gere, might know where to look for him.
I can identify him by his face, given the opportunity, more importantly by his methods.
Did you work with him? With him?
No way.
Do you have a problem with this man?
It's between him and me.
The Jackal hires a weapons maker to construct a remote-controlled mount for the high-powered automatic rifle he plans to use in his assassination plot.
Hey, I give up.
Well, I guess the automatic sighting works.
Yeah, thought I was about to sprawl.
Well, Lamont, I'm gonna have to speed test it now.
Speed test.
So, run.
The Irishman bursts into an FBI meeting with a sudden insight. Maybe the head of the bureau isn't the Jackal's real target.
It always bothered me. Why did he keep coming? When he knew he could protect the director, especially once I got involved. But he didn't abort. Why? Didn't come together until I remembered what he said to Valentina. Tell Declan he can't protect his women.
In the showdown, the Jackal disguises himself as a cop to get close to a public ceremony in Washington.
Looking for a dark brown minivan and anything else that's out of its place.
The little minivan we found, just red one here. I checked it out about 15 minutes ago. It's got a local parking permit, DC tags.
The Jackal is inspired by the screenplay of Fred Zinnemann's classic film Day of the Jackal, released in 1972. It's instructive to note the difference in style between these two periods of filmmaking. The earlier film was a character study, wonderfully well acted by Edward Fox. This one is more of an international thriller, complete with elaborate chase scenes. Both films tread dangerously by using real-life targets. The earlier film was based on an actual attempt on the life of Charles de Gaulle. This new Jackal considers a potential victim who is obviously supposed to be Hillary Clinton, and that made my heart sink. I don't see how actors like Willis and Gere can complain about paparazzi and tabloid journalism and then appear in a movie where the First Lady is fair game as a murder target. Thumbs down.
Well, Roger, I give it thumbs down for reasons that the target could have been you or me in the picture. I thought the picture really stunk, and I mean it that way. First of all, the picture it's being compared with made my top 10 list that year.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. We knew de Gaulle didn't die that way, and yet we were suspenseful. That was a great picture. This is totally empty. I mean, there's no character in the Bruce Willis character here. Nothing. You can't tell me anything about the.
You know,
we
that's
learned all
right,
the
because
details.
Edward Fox really was a person who was doing this,
and
Willis is more like just going through the motions.
And again, 25 years ago, we learned details of how passports are faked, documents are faked, how you operate a gun here. None of that. It's all the details are gone, and that's 25 years ago. Here, they were more excited at showing the gun, the big gun, and the big holes it can blow things up with than writing a screenplay. I think it's a very bad film.
I think you're right. I was disappointed in the film. I was disappointed in the payoff.
Okay, next movie. And our next film is the animated feature Anastasia, offering some very pretty pictures while telling the story of an orphan Russian princess who doesn't know she's really royal. Her speaking voice is by Meg Ryan. Her singing voice, Liz Calloway.
It's like a memory from a dream. Dancing bears painted December.
Two ne'er-do-wells concoct a scheme by which they're going to promote this poor little girl into pretending to be Anastasia, the long-lost legitimate heiress to the Romanov throne, in exile in Paris.
You do kind of resemble her.
The same blue eyes.
The Romanov eyes.
Nicholas's smile.
Alexandra's chin.
Oh, look, she even has the grandmother's hand.
The force of evil in this picture is its least interesting element. The evil Rasputin is an utterly generic cartoon bad guy, in my opinion.
Come, my minions, rise for your master. Let your evil shine. In the dark of the night, in the dark of the night, she'll be mine.
The storyline has Anastasia reuniting with the Dowager Empress, and these characters are well drawn.
Listen, haven't you been listening? I've had enough. I don't care how much you have fashioned this girl to look like her, sound like her, or act like her. In the end, it never is her.
Eventually, the promoters learn that this really is the celebrated Anastasia.
The heir to the Russian throne. And you
will walk out of her life forever.
Well,
princesses don't marry kitchen boys.
How does this Anastasia from the Fox Entertainment empire measure up to the recent Disney collection of outstanding animated pictures? Well, it's not at the same level in terms of its musical score, to be sure, as, say, Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid, my modern favorites. It doesn't have the same caliber of songs, but it does have a Cinderella quality to its story that is appealing. And I think the central character of Anastasia is as magnetic as, say, Ariel in The Little Mermaid. That ultimately is enough for me to give a marginal recommendation of this movie for older children. I'm not sure little ones are going to be able to follow the story.
Oh, I liked it a lot more than you did, I think, Gene. And there are a couple of points I would make. First of all, this is a fascinating story. I mean, I was asking myself, how can they make an animated musical about Anastasia? But the story of the fraud, the imposter who isn't an imposter, that's fascinating. Secondly, lots of exciting action sequences, including the runaway train. And third, I thought that Rasputin was a great villain, not only in terms of the fact that his body is always coming to pieces and having to be screwed back together again, but also in that his green little goblin representatives are always following everybody everywhere they go and causing trouble. I thought he was first rate as a villain.
No, I thought he looked stock. I mean, really.
Oh, he looked like Rasputin. He looked exactly like Rasputin.
No, in live action films that we've both seen, Rasputin was more scary, in my opinion.
No, sir. This is a real good villain, and I think it's a very good movie.
I would have liked a better explanation of what was going on in Russia at the time. That's where they really fell down.
Yeah, we don't.
No, I mean, it's embarrassing.
We don't get that. Let me ask you one more question.
Yeah, I mean,
why
a place where they sell
because
beautiful
I agree
parties.
with you, the music isn't that great. Why didn't they use the movie song Anastasia?
I don't understand. Maybe
Why not?
They couldn't get the rights. I don't know.
Oh, they could have gotten the rights. It's a matter of writing a check, and you got the rights,
Okay.
just like that. Coming up later, Wesley Snipes and Anastasia Kinski have a one-night stand. And coming up next, Bill Murray unknowingly enters the world of espionage in The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Do I get a last request?
You mean like a cigarette or something?
I had something more substantial in mind.
A cigar?
Whoa, what are you doing here?
Well, today's my birthday, and I thought you might not remember, so I came over to get my presents here.
Oh, happy
lovely.
birthday.
Consuela, set another place for dinner.
Bill Murray plays a clueless tourist from America who arrives in London to visit his brother in the new comedy, The Man Who Knew Too Little. And his brother treats him to an evening of make-believe theater in which the customers are placed in lifelike situations that are really scripted and acted out by professionals. The catch is Murray stumbles into the wrong scenario, into an actual ongoing spy melodrama, still thinking he's only an actor in a play.
Do you think I look silly in this outfit? I could take it off if you'd like.
No. It's good silly.
That's John Wiley as a femme fatale he mistakenly thinks is an actor. In one dangerous situation after another, Murray thinks it's all a joke.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Horace! Spencer, what do you say?
Here's Johnny.
The real secret agent turns up dead, and again, Murray thinks this is just play acting.
You got me. To get you? You got both of us.
I've never seen a dead body before.
I've seen lots of them, but this is...
What are you doing?
Well, you gotta check and see, just how dead they are. You can never be sure a guy could be able to catch this.
Gee, I don't know what to say about this except that it just wasn't very funny. Once you establish the basic premise, which takes about 60 seconds, the movie just runs variations on the same mistaken identity gag over and over again. Bill Murray is a funny actor, but he can't carry flat material like this by sheer willpower. The funniest thing about The Man Who Knew Too Little is the title.
Yeah, it was very bad, Roger. You're right, the jokes are repetitive. Bill Murray, I think, is phoning this one in. I didn't see any comic invention on his part. He knows enough to know that this isn't funny material. The stuff with him breaking through the door and doing "Here's Johnny," a comment on The Shining, and the other thing, right after that, the Dirty Harry speech, that's desperation. That's not original. This is hackneyed material, and he plays it very flat. I didn't like it at all.
Okay, coming up, Anastasia Kinski and Wesley Snipes in another tough love story from the director of the Oscar-winning Leaving Las Vegas.
Two married people can't help falling in love at first sight in One Night Stand, the new movie from Mike Figgis, whose last film was the celebrated Leaving Las Vegas. This picture is not at that level. Anastasia Kinski and Wesley Snipes co-star as a scientist and a commercial director who meet by chance in a New York bar. And their immediate attraction to each other only increases after Snipes saves her from being mugged.
Where are you gonna go?
To JFK.
Listen, you just saved my life. And we're both adults, we're both married. It's the least I can do. I'd just not like you to stay.
I thought that was an awkward scene. Another major story thread involves Snipes' character making peace with his best friend, who has AIDS. He's played by the very good actor Robert Downey Jr.
Look, Charlie, if you need anything, you know.
Like what?
Well, I'm like, you know, I know that there are going to be medical bills and stuff.
Medical bills, okay. So what do I need?
I found One Night Stand to be surprisingly empty, and this may be a shocking thing to say about a director as terrific as Mike Figgis, whose work I have constantly admired. I really didn't sense any larger meaning to this relationship. Surprisingly, my recommendation is to pass up One Night Stand.
I'm giving it a thumbs up, and I'll tell you, I didn't see anything in the relationship either. It's like the relationship is only the clothesline on which to hang the stuff in the movie I did like. I enjoyed the peculiar nature of Snipes' relationship with his wife. I loved
that's better than Kinski.
I loved the Robert Downey character in every single detail of the way that character was written and acted and played, and the way that he interacted with Wesley Snipes. I thought that was terrific. I loved all of that stuff in this movie, and yet the one thing that didn't resonate for me was the One Night Stand. The Kinski character seemed to me to be written and viewed only as the excuse for all the other stuff.
You're being charitable, I think, because, I mean, the picture opens that way, Roger. Technically, you could be right. The line becomes before you hang anything else on it. But, man, our expectations, and you think of the work that was done in Leaving Las Vegas, and it just hangs over this picture.
Well, this isn't Leaving Las Vegas.
No.
You can't make a great movie like that every single time.
And I don't think
he didn't, but I'm still giving this thumbs up for the good stuff. And Downey is good.
I said he's good. When we come back, a movie director takes dance lessons and change her life in The Tango Lesson.
Our next film, named The Tango Lesson, is one of those magical and completely unexpected experiences that renews your faith in the movies. It's the work of Sally Potter, best known for writing and directing Orlando, a movie based on Virginia Woolf's novel about a character who lives 400 years, first as a man, then as a woman. The Tango Lesson is about a transformation scarcely less astonishing. A British film director in her 40s goes to see a great tango dancer in Paris and ends up by becoming his onstage and offstage partner. That's the real-life tango virtuoso Pablo Verón there, and his partner was Carolina Iacchi. After their performance, Sally Potter, playing a character named Sally, seeks him out.
En fait, vous utilisez votre présence sur scène comme un acteur dans un film.
Do you work in the cinema?
Yes. Do you give tango lessons?
Yes.
She takes lessons from him and becomes a talented dancer herself in an amazingly quick amount of time, while at the same time they begin to fall cautiously in love. Pablo comes from Argentina, and back home in Buenos Aires, the relationship catches fire. Those were all music and dance scenes, and of course they form the most entertaining parts of the movie, but there's a lot more going on here than just the tango. The movie is also about art and the relationship between the artist and the director, and a battle for power between a man and a woman, and about the difficulties of getting a good film made. The tango lesson is astonishing in how entertaining it manages to be, while at the same time being provocative and serious. This is a wonderful film.
Oh, I thought so too. And I'll talk about the tango because in the way this film has been directed by Sally Potter, you can see the artistry being done. It's not just quick movements with loud sounds that keep you away. The pause, and now this is a tribute to Verón, of course, but the way in which he will position his leg means something in context with the story. We see, I know it may be hackneyed to think the dance tells the story, but this time I saw it happening. I saw him waiting to wrap his, when his leg is wrapped around hers, it meant something with the story.
And when they're on stage and it's not going right for him, you know it's not going right. I know nothing about the tango.
Right, me
They were able to put on a virtuoso performance that I still knew wasn't going right. I want to tell you something. When I saw this movie, I walked out of the theater and did something I've never done before.
Danced.
That would be a good idea. No. I went to the record store and I bought the CD of the soundtrack. And I've been listening to it ever since. The music in this movie is fabulous, too.
Terrific. Coming up next, maybe Roger will dance for this film. Australian lovers go on a murderous rampage in Kiss or Kill.
The Century Plaza, offering the finest in luxury service in Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower, a Westin hotel.
Our next film is an offbeat crime thriller from Australia called Kiss or Kill, following a couple with a scam whereby the woman leaves a mark to a hotel and then she and her boyfriend rip the guy off. But they get more than they bargained for when they steal a briefcase belonging to one victim. The couple is played by Francis O'Connor and Matt Day.
Give it to me.
It turns out the briefcase contains a terribly incriminating videotape that a sports hero desperately wants back, and thus begins a cross-country chase, during which the couple is at each other's throats because each suspects the other of more important crimes than thievery.
No, I didn't bloody kill him. I went in, he wasn't even there. I took the money and we left. I didn't kill the guy. Now pay and we'll leave, all right?
Kiss or Kill is audacious in small ways, most particularly in the energy that each actor brings to most every scene. Sometimes when I watch American actors in crime stories like this, I find them overdoing it, as if they need to be heard amid all the gunplay and car crashes. In Kiss or Kill, I bought the emotions as real, as on edge, as credibly frantic. It's a small pleasure to be sure, but it's enough for me to marginally recommend this movie.
I recommend it too, and amazingly so, because really the basic story is pretty cut and dried.
Right.
Young couple on the run. We've seen that in Badlands and in 100 other movies.
And better.
But here, another interesting touch is the way they allow characters to exist in real time. Like when the two cops, when the one cop is putting on the other cop in that conversation in the diner, that was really funny. It had nothing to do with the plot, but it was human nature.
And you know how and that scene would have been overplayed in American Picture too. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs down for The Jackal, way down, the ultimately boring tracking of a world-class assassin played by Bruce Willis. 2 thumbs up for Anastasia. We both liked the lead character. Roger liked Rasputin more than I did. 2 thumbs down, way down for the dreary Bill Murray comedy, The Man Who Knew Too Little, a character who is dumb and dumber all by himself. A split vote on Mike Figgis's One Night Stand with Wesley Snipes and Anastasia. This is not, we agree, at the level of Leaving Las Vegas. 2 thumbs up for The Tango Lesson, a marvelous entertainment mixing romance and dance. And finally, 2 thumbs up marginally for the Australian road picture, Kiss or Kill.
And you can check our votes and hear our reviews of recent movies at our website. The address is Siskel-Ebert.com. That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including John Cusack and Kevin Spacey and Clint Eastwood's film of the bestseller, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
True story and deliciously evil, don't you think?
Also, John Grisham's The Rainmaker, Francis Ford Coppola's legal thriller, starring Matt Damon, Danny DeVito, and John Voight.
I want to expose these people. Welcome to the war.
That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
In a recent taste challenge, 3 out of 4 consumers preferred Jolly Time popcorn over all others. Maybe the 4th never got a real taste. Jolly Time popcorn. Taste the fun.
You'll race to unravel the world's greatest brain teasers with 30-second mysteries. Discover the excitement and intrigue of 30-second mysteries today. 30-second mysteries from University Games.
With a home equity loan from the Money Store, you can consolidate bills, make home improvements, even buy a car. Call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Tooth whiteners, mouthwashes, breath mints, plaque fighters, and chewing gum? Forget them. All you need is Yow, the revolutionary new breath freshener that whitens teeth and fights bad breath.